Today is Friday, August 8th, 2025. Welcome to This Week in Natural Refrigerants News, where we recap the top stories on naturalrefrigerants.com. This podcast is generated and read by artificial intelligence and may contain pronunciation errors. We're your hosts, AC
and Mo.
And the articles for today's podcast were organized by naturalrefrigerants.com's managing editor and written by its writers. You can find links to each article in the show notes. Okay, let's jump right in. First up, we've got news from the Atmosphere America 2025 event in Atlanta.
Right. A really interesting piece on energy recovery's PXG 1300 pressure exchanger. It's making waves in transcritical CO2 systems.
Okay, pressure exchanger. What's the big news there?
Well, Hill Phoenix presented findings. They're showing this device could improve the the coefficient of performance by up to 15%.
15%?
Yeah, 15% at 95 degrees Fahrenheit ambient temperatures. That's pretty significant, especially for CO2 in those warmer climates.
Definitely. But that's lab data, right? How's it actually performing out in the field?
Good question. They did share a couple of case studies, real-world stuff, one in a Canadian supermarket and another out of a Vallarta supermarket store down in Salinas, California.
And the results.
So in those settings, it improved COP by 7.9% at 65 degrees Fahrenheit ambient. Still solid.
Okay.
But the really big number, I think, came from that Vallarta store. A 98% reduction in water consumption for their adiabatic gas cooler.
98%. Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge for water savings.
Exactly. A real game changer, especially, where water's scarce.
So it's not just energy then. Given those kinds of results, is this tech getting picked up more broadly?
Oh, absolutely. It seems to be moving fast. It's already running in 10 sites across the U.S. and Canada, and over 40 in Europe, plus some in Japan, too. And maybe more telling, several big OEMs are integrating it directly.
Oh, like who?
Let's see. Epta, Fuel Technic, Kaiser Warren. They're building it right into their CO2 racks.
Okay, so it's really becoming part of the standard offering. That's integration.
Yeah, it suggests these CO2 transcritical systems are really maturing, becoming, a really robust solution.
Right. So moving from components to a company view. Let's talk Henry Group. They've been around a while, right? How are they doing with NatRefs?
They have, yeah. Over 110 years, actually. And the U.S. market, especially with the AIM Act pushing things along, is really driving demand for their natural refrigerant products.
Makes sense. What kind of products are we talking about?
Well, they have a really extensive range for pretty much all the main natural refrigerants: R290 propane, R744 CO2, R600A isobutane, and R717 ammonia.
So quite comprehensive.
Definitely. And given their history, they've got deep experience.
Where are they seeing the most growth in the U.S. specifically? Any key areas?
Yeah. Customized pressure vessels seem to be big. Things like flash tanks, receivers, oil separators, accumulators, oil reservoirs, too.
Okay.
Also, their high-pressure PRVs, pressure relief valves, and those 80-bar rated replaceable core dryers, essential for high-pressure R744 systems.
Got it. And are they looking ahead? Any emerging trends they're keeping an eye on?
They are. They mentioned limited charge ammonia systems becoming more popular.
Interesting.
Also, more use of R744, the CO2, in smaller kilowatt CDUs, those compact condensing units and heat pumps, and R290 propane showing up in VRF heat pumps.
So lots of movement across different applications. Okay, sticking with market shifts, let's turn to transport refrigeration. eBerspeecher has some news, right?
Yes, they do. They're planning to launch propane version R290 versions of their AC-138 EVO and AC-135 thermal management systems. These are for buses.
Propane in buses. When is that happening?
They're targeting 2026 for the launch, but they'll unveil them at Busworld 2025 in Brussels later this year.
And the driver for this? Just market demand or regulations too?
It seems like both. Definitely demand for higher efficiency and, future-proof refrigerants, but also regulatory pressure in Europe is a big factor, particularly around synthetic refrigerants and PFAS concerns.
Right. The PFAS issue is really pushing things. So what's special about these new R290 systems?
Well, they already have a CO2 version of the AC-138 EVO. Adding an R290 option helps ensure stable performance, especially in really high ambient temperatures where CO2 can sometimes struggle a bit.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the R290 AC-135, that's actually going to be their first natural refrigerant system for diesel-powered buses. It'll work with electric and conventional powertrains, too, of course.
So expanding the reach beyond just electric buses.
Exactly. And it offers cooling capacities from 25 up to 50 kilowatts, so pretty versatile.
That does sound like a significant step for NatRefs and transport. Okay, finally today, let's talk about resources. There's a new book coming out.
Yes, a new textbook. It's called Safe with Propane in Heat Pumps and Chillers, written by Stig Rath and Harold Arrows.
Safe with propane. Sounds pretty direct. What's the goal?
The idea is to provide a really complete overview. Covers legislation, standards, best practices, everything you need for using hydrocarbons like propane safely in refrigeration, AC, and heat pump systems.
So kind of a go-to guide for the industry as propane use grows?
Precisely. It's aimed at a wide audience: installers, manufacturers, plumbers, even end users and authorities. Covers indoor and outdoor systems, regs, risk assessment, X zones, safety during installation and service.
Everything needed to do it right and safely.
Exactly,
Right.
which is obviously critical with flammable refrigerants.
Absolutely. When can people get it?
It should be out by mid-September, available in both English and German, print and digital. Price is listed as DKK775, which is about $120.
Good to know.
And related to this, it's worth noting that efforts are ongoing in the U.S. to actually increase the allowable charge of propane in heat pumps up to 4.9 kilograms. So the potential applications keep expanding.
Right. More charge means potentially larger systems.
Mm.
Okay, that wraps up the main stories for this week. This is AT, and this has been the Week in Natural Refrigerant News.